All right. Hello, hello. We are back. House and Fata Morgana tonight. I think maybe we're close to the end. It feels like we're getting close. But I've said that before and then was super wrong. So I don't know. We'll find out. Um, but welcome back for those of you who have been joining us before. I am Kels. You'll hear me talking a lot. I'm not a professional voice actress, but I do my best. So we're just going to jump right in. Let's recap really quick. Let's see. When Giselle arrived at the house, Morgana offered to scare her off with a haunting, but we decided to pry into her secrets and shoo her away ourselves instead. Our paranoia was why we asked Mom for her secrets and conflated her with Amy when Mom called her a homewrecker. Mom sent us a knife blessed with holy water, which is what we pulled on her. That is still so wild to me. Like, you exile your child and then go, you know what? You can kill her. Here you go. Here's this blessed knife. Murder. Um, let's see. Morgana kept feeding our fears about Giselle's intentions, but we eventually got used to Giselle and life felt richer. Giselle found a cat that we named Ugly Speckles Mark II. That poor cat. With Giselle reminding us of our humanity, we decided to cut ties with Morgana, but she just warned that we'd crawl back to her. We tried to keep Giselle in the friend zone in our hearts, but we fell even harder in love/lust despite our lack of genitalia. We kept hesitating to tell her about being intersex because we were afraid we were scared of her response. The nights came after our letter to Mom, and I'm doing really good at reading. I'm so sorry. And we begged Morgana to save us, wishing for Giselle's safety and sacrificing ourselves. DDA was the knight in charge of arresting and crucifying us for heresy, but at least he respected our pronouns, and we spent our last words telling him we used to respect him and looked forward to introducing our wife to him. Then he dragged our corpse to Amade to read out our supposed crimes, as the witch let our corpse suffer humiliation while our soul could only watch. 3 days later, our mom showed up to condemn us to hell. Later, Giselle prayed to reunite with us, and that light called us from the void, but we kept fading in and out. Morgana taunted us about Giselle's disgusted reaction to our sex and how the various abbeys of history exemplified femininity. We got back in our body, but in the state it was when we died, and Morgana offered again to grant a hateful wish. Instead of letting go of our humanity, Giselle came back and reciprocated our love. The music was very intense there for a second. I don't know what I was feeling, but I was feeling it. The real Giselle took our hand and accepted all of us, and we admitted that we never doubted her love for us and were just insecure that we let the illusion of her being transphobic make us cry. Giselle embraced how kind we are, the fact that we only ever cursed our father on her behalf, and how our love reunited us throughout eras. We felt Giselle's body once again and finally kissed her. Then she asked us to rid the mansion of Morgana's darkness, but Morgana is honestly just amused that she escaped. Yeah, I feel like Morgana's gonna throw some more shit at us, but you know what? We can take it on with the power of love and God and anime on our side. So let's get in here. All right. Okay, it's this one. But it would seem my will is not as absolute as I had thought. What would you call that? The power of love? Is that what allowed this to happen? How trite. The music sounds like someone whispering, and it might be. I don't know if it is, but it's very distracting. Where's the magic? The miracle? I can think of one other reason she was able to escape. And it's the only way we'll be able to find the power we need to cast off the darkness of this house. But first, before we do anything else, we must open this door. Whatever nonsense that woman filled your head with, it certainly seems to have put some fight into those eyes. Well, good for you, my dear. A little confidence boost doesn't erase the fact that you were on the ground, crawling through the filth like a worm, tears streaming down your face as you tried to ignore what lay before you. A little self-esteem isn't going to make you any less helpless when you step through that door. But that won't stop me from trying. I'm done acting like you're some inevitability, some force of nature. It's time for me to take a stand, Morgana. Let's take a stand. The air around the door has a distinct chill to it as I place my hand against the wood surface. My arms, once bloody and lacerated, are now whole again. I can feel my entire body, everything back in its rightful place. I take in a breath, lift my head, focus my gaze on the door, and push it open. Resting on the back of my hand, I can feel another palm, soft and warm. Yeah, we have the power of love, bitch. Through the single window sitting high atop the wall shines a ray of light. A black butterfly flutters within the beam. Its form is indistinct, wavering like a mirage as it slowly descends to the tower floor. And then, from within the darkness, a person appears. Oh, hello. Oh, you're cute. Is that you, Morgana? How does it feel to finally meet the real thing, my dear? I knew you were young, but you really are still a child. Having heard her tale, I know she died still a girl. And I know how she came to bear so much hatred for the world. But knowing and seeing are two very different things. The sight of her bony adolescent body is a painful reminder that she never had a chance to know happiness, to know adulthood before being robbed of her life. I had assumed monster would be your first reaction, with a face and a body like this. Ooh, that's neat. That's a cool little trick. I like that one. How very sweet of you, Michael. So tell me, what exactly do you mean to do now that you're here? Your ultimate goal was, as I understood it, to take Giselle back. But she's no longer here for me to return to you. She broke out of my cage and exhausted what remained of her soul to show herself to you. I cannot perceive even a trace of her presence any longer. So I presume her soul shattered, dissipating into nothing. No, she's right here beside me. Is that so? You seem to believe as much anyway, which only makes your presence here a bigger mystery. Ah, I know. You want revenge. I made you miserable while you were alive, and I continued to torment you in death. You entrusted me with Giselle's life, and I used her for my own ends. You must despise me. She does kind of look a little bit like she's cosplaying Alucard from Hellsing. Like, I can see it. I love the butterfly brooch. I think it's a really nice little callback to how her symbol has been butterflies this whole time. Hatred fills you. You want to curse me, to kill me. My death could well mean the end of all of this. Shall I grant you that wish? She flicks a finger, and the next second, a longsword clatters to the floor at my feet. Take the blade in your hands, and like the knight of old who executed the witch, pierce my heart with it. Do now what should have happened then. You always wanted to be a knight, didn't you? Go on, pick it up. Show me your revulsion, my dear. Morgana. Exactly. She is wholly underestimating how capable of forgiveness we can be. Also, we actually know what happened to her, and I feel like, yes, she's done absolutely horrible things, right? There's no arguing that. But also, she's a little girl who got twisted by everyone else's desires and has now spent however long alone, seething in hatred. I'm having a problem really blaming her for it. Exactly. She needs a hug. She needs the kindness that she never got. And I'm hoping that's what we're about to give her because she she deserves better. Morgana, I do have a reason for being here. I came to save you. Did you hit your head on the way up? You came to save who? I spent so long trying to look away when I should have been trying to look deeper. To tell you the truth, your constant chattering in the darkness evoked more than annoyance in me. I empathized with your loneliness. I bear no hatred for you. It was my despair that brought you back to life. So that makes it my responsibility to end this. My own wish has given me all the redemption I need, my dear. Or should I be expecting another self righteous lecture about how hatred does you no good? Brilliant, Michael, brilliant. Do you have any idea how absurdly presumptuous you're being? Trying to force your idea of redemption onto someone who has no interest in it. If the tale you told me was the whole truth, then I would have said you could revile those heartless men as much as you pleased. But I refuse to believe that's the whole story. The men I saw beyond the first three doors had genuine concerns and worries. They felt things, real human emotions, even if those things ultimately led them down a path of destruction. Wanting to do something nice for the one you care about, being disgusted at things you've done, hiding your urges from those around you. You certainly couldn't call them good men, but they were real people with real conflicts. So you're saying I'm lying? Well, I can't say I blame you. Who would believe the word of a witch? I don't think you falsified your account, Morgana. The tragedy, no, the grisly reality you described, I don't doubt any of that happened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But I've learned something in my years. Reality exists from more than one perspective. That doesn't change what happened. That two-faced young man deceived me. The beast severed my arm, and the greedy, power hungry lord used me for his own personal gain. Events by themselves do not tell the whole story. Only when you take into account their circumstances, what they thought and felt, their perspectives, only then can you say you've reached the truth. Your point being, are you going to march down to where their souls are and ask them for their perspective? Don't waste your breath. They'll only tell you what benefits themselves the most. Then we do it our way. We open the door to your past. And if I refuse? This is my domain, my world. It operates in accordance to my will. The door won't open unless I allow it to. Were you aware, Morgana, that I recovered my first memory in front of a mirror? You what? The same mirror Giselle used to practice her smile. And in all those hundreds of years, bits of her memory came to reside within it. Every time she stood before that mirror, she had me in her heart. And next, I saw one of my own memories play out in my bedchamber. It was the first day after we opened the windows, when she let the morning sun into my room. That day was a turning point in my life. And why are you telling me this? Because it means this world doesn't belong only to you. It's also hers and mine. And that is why she was able to break free. Your wish is, without question, the most powerful of anyone's here, and you have more authority over this place than anyone else. There's no denying your position as master of this mansion. But Giselle and I, we too have influence over this domain. I was the one who resurrected you, and she who served as your guide. So the door will appear, whether or not it is your will. Their souls reside here as well. They may spin convenient tales, but the memories ingrained upon their souls can tell no lies. All the pieces are on the board. The door will open. Say the door does open. What does that change? Nothing those men may have thought or felt can take back what they did to me. This rotting, broken creature they turned me into. I don't care what was going through their heads. They will never have my forgiveness. My hatred is unwavering. My wish will not be undone so easily. Their souls shall suffer for all eternity. Before we, before we begin, Morgana, let's get one last lingering question out of the way. And what might that be? Who the white-haired girl is. That's your lingering question? We've already established. That was you, Morgana. So, in a desperate plea to deny you came back as a woman, you're now trying to make me into her. That is perhaps the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That was you, my dear. Don't avert your eyes. You must face reality. I'm not averting my eyes, and I'm not in denial. I have faith. Faith that I only ever made it back to this mansion once, when I awoke in the rocking chair beside the fireplace. Nevertheless, that hardly justifies accusing me of being that foolish girl. How could you possibly think I was her? Never have I not been present in these walls, not even while she was alive and in the claws of tragedy. My hair is not white, nor are my eyes red. And look at this horrid, festering face. How could I ever become her? How your soul appears is irrelevant in this case, Morgana. I will uncover the truth about you, things even you don't know. And if I can show that you were, in fact, the white-haired girl, in that moment, will your reality be rewritten? If you're so confident, then be my guest. Find out for yourself just how little you're capable of. Blackness fills the observation tower once more. Morgana fades into the distance, leaving me alone in the dark stream. It's a darkness I've seen, felt, and been consumed by numerous times since arriving at the mansion. But this time, I welcome it, praying that beyond it lies a truth with the power to release all from the house's grip. This next tale has no narrator. I won't sit back and listen as someone recounts the path of fate for me. No, I have to find the path for myself this time. I don't know what awaits me beyond the black, but no matter what it may be, so long as I have the power to provide redemption, I must never put down my sword. Now, Let us open the door. The final door. The final door. Who knows when? I know we have another candidate for the real Abby. Maybe Abby was the friends we made along the way. I I brought you some food. You have to eat something. You barely touched your food yesterday. Come on, please. Just leave it there. Her hands aren't bound. She can eat whenever she pleases. But she's not going to last much longer. The boy has a point. If she won't eat, we lose our supply of blood. That's not what I meant. Leave it there. Um, well, we'll be back. Exactly. We're off to the door to darkness. Do you really have to go? Yeah, things are pretty hectic right now. And when do you suppose you'll be back? Tomorrow, same time as today. And you'll have enough time to talk then? Will you? Yeah. Are you hiding something from me? You're acting kind of funny. Yeah, I think this must be Nellie, the original Nellie. You're my sister. I wouldn't keep anything from you. You're not. You're not yourself, though. What's so different about me? Uh, well, you're not acting much like a prince. Ah, right, of course. Don't worry, I'm still your prince, same as always. Good night, Nellie, my princess. How did I end up in this mess? I never wanted this. All I wanted was a quiet life. Someone get me out of here. Take this thing somewhere far away. Tell me it's not all my fault. Oh God, I'm begging you. Just make it all go away. Someone, anyone, get me out of here. Look, the stars. They're beautiful. Though with it so bright out, I worry someone might see us. Everyone's long gone. I hope so. Are you ashamed? A little, but I still want to be with you. Yep, Pauline. Have you ever considered leaving the convent? You can't just stop being a nun, you know. It's not that simple. I've made vows, sworn my life to the service of God. I was not aware. I don't know much about this land's traditions. If I were to leave the church, it would have to be in my next life. I'd like to be a normal girl, lead a normal life, get married, have kids, and before I know it, I'm an old lady. Thinking, it was an uneventful life, but it was the best thing I could have asked for. That's my dream. That sounds very peaceful. I hope we can be together in our next lives, too. Have a nice, quiet life together. It'll be a city on the water, looking out over a beautiful, glimmering emerald sea. The blue sky spreading as far as the eye can see. The sound of the seabirds squalling by the port. The two of us, sitting shoulder to shoulder, just looking out over the city. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It certainly does. I would love that. Yeah. Well, that's really awkward. Pauline, your religion does not have this reincarnation concept that you're discussing. Stop blaspheming. Yeah, but look, Girl accidentally pledged her life to God, not realizing she was going to find the love of her life. So God owes her this one or something. I don't know how this works. The harvest festival. On the day of the festival. 3 days until her death. Wake up. Please wake up. Come on. Open your eyes. Michael. Ugh, so bright. I'm outside. The light feels like needles in my eyes. The first thing I see beyond the mansion's darkness is blinding light. The sun glares mercilessly overhead. A gentle breeze blows past, and I can hear birds chirping from several different directions. Each breath I take fills my lungs with the scent of earth and grass. So much time has passed since I've been in the light. I almost feel like I'm alive again. Yeah, it kind of seems like we are changing the past and just inserting ourselves into her backstory. I don't know how this is going to work, but let's find out. No, not almost. What's going on? What on earth is this? The era Morgana lived? Michael! Huh? Oh, thank goodness you can hear me. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Look at her, she's so cute. Our love. Giselle, is that voice really you? I swear it's me, 100%. Not that mean old phony. So don't you worry. No, I believe it's you. I just was not expecting to be able to hear you here. I did say would always be by your side. I'm relieved. But where are you, Giselle? I can't see you anywhere. Well, I'm not exactly sure myself. You don't know? I don't know how to describe it. It's pitch dark all around me, like a black smoke churning in the darkness. It feels a lot like inside the mansion, but I don't think I'm actually in the mansion. So you're still trapped in the void then? I can see a shimmering light off in the distance, through the fog, and I can hear sounds coming from that direction. It's like the outside world is leaking through the light. I can see the trees rustling, hear birds singing. I can't see you, though, so I assumed I was seeing through your eyes, and I thought I'd try getting your attention. So that means you can see everything I can. Seems so, though I don't think I can see quite as clearly as you. I wish you could be here to feel this too. Experience it in my place, even. It's a bizarre sensation. While I could see and feel the worlds through the other doors, it was strictly in the capacity of an observer. We were merely watching, not actually present in the tales. But this time, it's like I've been resurrected and dropped into this world as a participant. It's also vivid. Everything the mansion lacked. It's all here, and I can feel it so clearly. I wish you could have been the one to experience this. It's okay, Michael.
I know you'll dispel this darkness I'm in, won't you?
I will.
I'm more than happy just being able to hear your voice and being able to see what you see. It's like a miracle.
I, too, am glad to know you're there. To have the chance to hear your voice again. Thank you so much for saving me. If you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't be here.
Oh no, I should be thanking you. I was overjoyed to learn how much you really cared about me. There are so many things I want to say right now. So many things I want you to know. So many thank yous. And so many I love yous. Uh, mm, mm-hmm. Hey now, is that really the best response you've got? Surely you can do better than that.
You're embarrassing me.
I am somewhat disappointed by one thing, though. I can't get any hugs or kisses since I'm not there in person. Oh, come on! You're not very good at this, are you?
Yeah, I think phone sex or whatever you would call this is out of the question. Like, I don't. I think Michael needs a little bit more practice. It's a fantastic game. I don't know how close I am to the end, but I have enjoyed every single second of it. So,
And hello.
and you're not very good at picking up on how much you're embarrassing me.
I'd expect at the very least a me too.
Uh, mm, we should start by figuring out when and where exactly this is.
You're not even trying, are you?
I'm doing the best I can. Please don't ask any more of this. Of, please don't ask any more than this of me. I can read. I swear to God. I mean, are we on a mission? Yes. Does that mean that we can't flirt? Apparently, yes. But that's okay. We'll learn how to flirt and walk at the same time. We'll figure it out.
Thank you.
I will try my best to enjoy.
It's okay, though. I might not be able to see you, but we're together either way. You know, Michael, I think I might be able to help too. Well, I can't be there in person. I can give you ideas. Another point of view when you're not sure about something. With the two of us together, we'll find a way through this.
Yes, we will.
Where to begin? What do you say we get our bearings? List out exactly what we need to take care of.
It's not a bad idea. I'm a bit frazzled at the moment, to tell you the truth.
What? Why?
I had assumed we would just be observers, like with the other doors, searching their memories for clues. I never expected I'd actually be thrown into their era.
True. It's not at all like the other doors.
No matter how the rules may change, I'm seeing this through to the end. If our guess is correct, and we have arrived at Morgana's past, then we need to uncover the truth behind those events. Or rather, the three men's circumstances. What they felt, what drove them. My gut tells me there's something to be found there that even Morgana doesn't know. I could be wrong, and it's possible that even if I am right, what we find won't do anything to quell her hatred. But we won't be talking her out of it, that's for sure. Words won't break through that kind of animosity. We need something bigger, something she could never have imagined, something that will turn her entire worldview on its head.
The white-haired girl might be a good place to start. She showed up at the mansion again and again, as though led there by some supernatural force. And she was involved with all three men in some way. I can't think of anyone else with such deep ties to both the mansion and the men. But at the same time, I have a hard time convincing myself that the Morgana we know and the white-haired girl could be the same person.
They are about as different as two people can be. Which actually leads me to believe there's something there.
There must be something, some secret we haven't figured out yet that we can use. So, let's find it.
It won't be easy.
If we are in the past, though, I wonder, maybe we could change it? This could be a huge chance for us.
Change the past.
Yeah, we could prevent Morgana's death, or we could stop whatever led them down this path.
There's an idea.
If it's actually possible, maybe we can do something. The question is this world really... Now I'm getting kind of pumped. I've got my game face on and I'm ready to do this.
Doesn't do much good if no one can see it.
It's a figure of speech. Okay, first things first, we need to find the mansion. Morgana should be at the top of the observation tower, and the three men shouldn't be too far off either. So the question is, where are we?
Do you recognize the surroundings at all?
I never really left the mansion, so I'm not
Especially familiar with the lay of the land.
Give me a little spin, would you? As she requests, I slowly spin around in a circle, and through the dense woods, I spot a cluster of what appears to be stone formations. Squinting to get a better look, I realize that they're buildings.
It's decently far off, but it appears to be the edge of a city.
Maybe the witch stuff.
My thought immediately went to whatever killed everyone at the end after Morgana died. Right? We kind of went along with the idea that there was some like supernatural thing, or maybe Morgana's blood was poisoned or something. But I wonder if there's something to that, and that's why everyone dies. Like maybe that's the reason why they are taking her. I don't know. I'm spinning around in circles, it feels like, with my thoughts, but that's okay. Their banter is very much Nick and Maya banter. It's very fun to do. I like it.
I think that might be the village they stayed at for a while.
It's a bit big for a village.
Don't you remember what Amade said about the village's history?
Amade. That bastard.
Michael, you didn't think something uncharacteristically vulgar just now, did you?
Wouldn't dream of it. Yes, I remember. He said it was once much larger, and that it was destroyed in a single week by the witch's curse. Except rather than a curse, it was probably disease.
If that's the same city, then it fits with what Morgana said happened. I believe he also said something about there being a large bridge on the outskirts of the city, and that following the path from there would lead to the mansion. So let's head down to the city.
All right.
You don't sound very enthusiastic. Are you nervous you might have to talk to someone? Don't worry, you've got me here.
Don't treat me like I'm antisocial. You are antisocial, Michael. What the fuck?
You're not?
No, that's not what's bothering me. It's something about this whole thing feels off.
This world we're in?
Never mind. I'm probably overthinking things. But now's not the time for that. We need to get moving. Let's go. I want to know more about that Yu-Gi-Oh itch with Giselle being a voice in our head. I don't understand that comment. Tell me more.
Rather than waste time fretting over details, we need to get to the mansion like she said. Everything else comes after that.
We can walk and talk at the same time, you would think. Maybe not.
With each step, I can feel the earth compressing beneath my feet, the grass flattening. As I weave my way through the trees toward the city, the sensation of having a living flesh and blood body slowly returns.
Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Uh, a white-haired man just appeared out of nowhere. And he's talking to himself. I gotta get away before he does something.
Hold it right there, Mel. You don't get to call me crazy and then just run off.
How do you know my name? Ow, why wouldn't I? We were just in the mansion together. Huh? Mansion? What are you talking about? Uh, right. He hasn't become the shadow in the mansion yet. I doubt I would forget seeing someone as unusual as you. Who are you? And where did you come from? Where? Um, I'd like to know that myself. Say something, Michael! He's not getting any less suspicious of you. You have to come up with some way to break the tension. Improvisation isn't exactly my strong suit. Uh.
Oh no, I think we're going to get a choice here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. We are about to get a choice here. We're saving. Interesting. Watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And seeing the dynamic of Yami Yugi possessing the body of regular Yugi and eventually talking to him gave me an interest in the concept of two minds sharing a body. It is a really interesting concept. I do like it. All right, what do we want to say here? Were we sleeping in a tree, or do we want to tell him that we are God? I saved. I'm gonna say I am God, because I want to see how this goes. It is going to go absolutely badly, but that's why I saved.
Michael, even I wouldn't believe you if you told me that.
I already regret it.
Uh, you're one of those pagan missionaries, aren't you? Here to spread the word of some other new god?
And now he thinks I'm loony.
I should get going.
Hold on, you can't leave until I've made a better impression.
My parents raised me not to talk to scary people like you. I'm with you on that one, Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes.
God, this is a disaster. I was joking. I didn't actually mean I was God. Stop looking at me like I'm mad.
That still doesn't explain how you knew my name. Have you been stalking me?
Why would anyone follow you around? It was all a coincidence. You look a lot like an acquaintance of mine. So imagine my surprise when it turns out you have the same name as him.
Okay. We'll go with that for now.
He would probably trust a bear before me at this point. Anyway, it would seem that, like Morgana's, I'm the only one who can hear Giselle's voice.
Regardless, you wouldn't have any luck converting anyone over here anyway.
Again, I'm not... Wait, hold on. Why do you say that?
Everyone around here worships the Saintess. Sometimes I think she's got more followers than God the Father himself. She's practically her own religious figure.
The Saintess?
You've never heard of her? She's a nun down at the church. Everyone calls her the Saintess.
So he's not talking about Morgana.
No, actually, I have heard tales of her. I would be surprised if you hadn't. Anyway, in a few days, we're going to hold a festival at the church to celebrate the spring harvest. So while that's going on, I don't think you'll have much luck proselytizing.
I'm forever doomed to be a missionary in his mind now, aren't I? When exactly is this harvest festival?
In 3 days. You should stick around for it.
3 days? Morgana died when the bell tolled noon on the day of the festival, which means she's got that much time left.
This will be the first time we've held the festival, so everyone's excited to make it into a big event. Something really memorable.
And a young girl is dying behind the scenes of this seemingly pleasant celebration.
If her death is 3 days from now, that might give us enough time to do something about it.
Could I ask you to show me the way to the church? I would like to join in on the festivities.
Sure, yeah. Of course. The church's doors are open to all, friends and family and heathen missionaries alike. It's not far. Follow me.
Thank you.
It didn't occur to me until now, but this really is a strange experience. This is a boy from a completely different time period who I would have never had the opportunity to meet. If he's here, then presumably the other two are as well.
Yeah, it'll be a grand festival. I don't know how we'll top it next year.
You won't have to worry about that. Which means Morgana's wish for their reconstruction was actually granted. This Mel doesn't seem like any different a person than the one I observed through the first door. Yet he played a part in Morgana's imprisonment. I have trouble believing he would voluntarily involve himself, though. I was scared for a minute there. That could have gone a lot worse. Plus, we managed to make contact with Mel in record time. She's interacted with him and the others before, so I guess this doesn't feel as strange to her. Uh, you don't want him to hear you talking to yourself again? That's why you're not saying anything to me, isn't it? Actually, I think I can talk to you without speaking. Can you hear me? How are you doing that? I have a lot of experience talking to ghosts. That really drives home how bizarre things were for you in that mansion. Were you not in similar circumstances when it was you and Morgana together? Uh, yeah, now that you mention it, what a bizarre time we've both had in that mansion. You're just now realizing this? So, what's your impression of him? My impression? That he's the same Mel as always? In a little more detail? Mm, that he's an amicable young man. Nice enough to show a complete stranger around. I agree. In Morgana's version of the story, he betrayed her. But he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would enthusiastically do something so malicious. He had to have some reason. And we need to figure out what that was. The question is, how do we go about it? We hardly have enough time to earn his trust and convince him to tell us himself. I'll just have to put the knowledge I already have to good use. Oh, that reminds me. Hmm? Something that might explain it? No, about Morgana. When you were alive, she was always right there with you, like I am now, right? Whenever it struck her fancy, yes. She didn't seem to care when or where. She would just start talking whenever she felt like it. Well, whenever. For the most part, yeah. Anytime she wanted. Uh, Giselle? Um, y- you don't have to worry about that with me. I know when to keep my mouth shut, promise.
What?
You said you feel like you're alive again, right?
My five senses all seem to be in working order.
Which means you'll also be getting hungry, tired, sleepy, and you'll, well, you know,
Huh?
you'll have to go to the bathroom. I'll be polite and close my eyes and plug my ears while you're doing it.
Uh, thanks?
What would possess her to bring that up? Does she even realize what she's saying? Oh gosh, now I'm red as a tomato.
That answers that. Moving right along. Yeah, I mean, look, Morgana does seem like the type that she would start talking at the most inconvenient moments. He'd be trying to concentrate and she'd be singing the song that never ends. So, mid masturbation, absolutely. I don't I don't know how everything's working down there if Michael could, if I'm being completely honest, but yeah, Giselle is not in a scat play. We need to discuss how we're going to go about this.
Right, that.
The Harvest Festival is our deadline, which doesn't give us very much time. We need a plan for when we arrive at the mansion.
How about we spill their secret? Tell everyone about the girl they've got locked up in the tower and force them to set her free. Surely they wouldn't stand for that.
Perhaps, but would anyone believe me?
Uh,
If I walked in and said that I came from the future and that I know what's going to happen, would anyone actually buy that?
sure, with enough convincing.
Even if I did manage to convince them, the tower door was locked in Morgana's rendition of the tale. You need 3 keys to get inside. Mel should have one of them, but stealing his alone won't be enough to get into the tower.
True.
If Giselle is right, and we can save Morgana and change the future, then that would indeed solve everything. But something about this whole situation still doesn't sit right with me. I have to do more than just set her free of that tower. I have to find the truth as well, as I initially set out to do. Regardless, I would like to try and stay on everyone's good side as much as possible for now.
Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help.
I appreciate it. I mean, as you know, conversation's not exactly my strong suit.
Which means it's my job to hit the brakes whenever you say something stupid.
It's a bit too late if I've already said it.
Anyway, step one is to get ourselves into the mansion. We can't hope to make contact with the other 2 men, much less get Morgana out of there if we're not staying nearby.
I'll do what I can. Exactly. We have to pull this off like a heist movie. We're gonna break Morgana out, get out the Mission Impossible themes. Like, we got this.
We're almost there.
See the big building in the distance? That's the church. It is the same mansion as I suspected.
Seeing it now,
Knowing what horrible things happened there, it's so disheartening. Are happening as we speak. In the tower we see in the distance, Morgana's locked up, all alone.
I wish we could just march in there and set her free.
If getting into the tower were our only goal, we could probably force our way in with a little work. Is something the matter? Mel, I could probably overpower him and get his key.
Hello?
But the other 2, that almost certainly wouldn't work for.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Seems kind of strange, doesn't it?
What does?
I mean, it doesn't look much like a church. At a glance, you'd think it was some noble's estate.
Uh, uh, yeah, so it does. I spent so long there, it never even occurred to me.
I was pretty surprised when I first saw it myself. A peculiar place, all told. There's a chapel inside the mansion, with this gorgeous stained glass window. It's quite the sight.
Do you know why it was built like that?
I'm not actually sure myself, no. Anyway, I'll show you to the chapel. The saintess should be there too, so I can introduce you.
All right. There you go. Michael doing the helicopter scene from the climax of the first Mission Impossible movie. Look, just let him down there. He can do it.
On our way to the mansion, we passed through a courtyard of sorts. When I lived here, the area was overgrown with weeds.
Apparently, they keep it in better condition in this era.
Following Mel's lead, we head through the chapel entrance.
Oh my.
I'm at a loss for words when I see what lies on the other side of those all too familiar doors. While it was barely recognizable as a place of worship in my memory, just 2 columns of battered pews and some piles of rubble, the room I'm looking at now is unequivocally a chapel. So this is what it used to look like.
Yeah, I would assume that we should meet Maria at some point. I don't know how that one's going to go down. And I don't know, like, for the other 2, if you think about it, like, Mel and Nellie were originally on good terms. Pauline and Yukimasa were on good terms. But if Maria's backstory is correct, her and Jacopo were not actually ever on good terms. Well, they were at some point, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be more of an antagonist here. Uh,
I wonder how far back this is from when we lived. It has to be more than a decade or two. Maybe 100 years? Or more.
yeah, I mean they were childhood friends, kinda, but then they were definitely not childhood friends. Yeah, it was very early and much messier. Like the question is, so like for everyone else, the white-haired girl came in after the moment of issue, right? But if you take her away, I guess for Yukimasa's, the white-haired girl being removed wouldn't necessarily help anything in his story. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. It's fine. Um,
The views and beliefs about the world prevalent in our time are not so different than those of this time. Perhaps the chapel was destroyed in the aftermath of the Harvest Festival. When I was first sent to the mansion, there were signs that repairs had been attempted. The stained glass window is behind the pulpit, I'm guessing, though we can't see it from here.
and right next to it is the door to the observation tower.
Ah, there she is. There's no priest here. She runs the church. You'll want to talk to her first if you're planning to participate in the Harvest Festival. I'll go fetch her for you. Whisking his way between the pews, the boy disappears into the back of the chapel, returning with a nun in tow. When I see her, my face twists for a brief moment. Good afternoon. You came to see the festival, I hear. It's wonderful to have you. Is that who I think it is?
I'm all but certain at this point that all the major players from behind the three doors are present here. Not just the three men whose shadows remain in the mansion, but also the women who were important parts of their lives. Though dressed differently, the way she speaks and the way she holds herself resembles the woman killed by her lover behind the second door.
They're all connected. What we thought were three separate tales all stretch back to a single point in time before our own. Hmm? Is there something the matter?
No, I was just thinking how unusual it is for one nun to be managing an entire church all by herself.
Ah, yes, that's the usual reaction from new visitors. Even I think this assignment is a bit over my head.
Assignment?
Well, I was at another church before this one, a smaller building, and I wasn't the only nun. But the lord of the land ordered me to transfer to a new, larger church he was opening. So here I am.
The Lord.
There's plenty of space on the property, more than enough to provide shelter for orphan children and aid for the sick.
It seems rather vacant from what I've seen.
Uh, yeah, about that. We used to take people in, but circumstances have made that difficult of late.
Exactly, where's Javi? What kind of circumstances?
It's not something I can discuss with an outsider, sorry.
I'm guessing it has to do with Morgana's imprisonment here.
You think she knows about Morgana?
I would guess not. The men swore to keep it between the three of them.
So she's being forced to oversee the mansion completely oblivious of what's happening here.
Which isn't to say she's not connected to it in some way. If she's the girl from the second tale, then she should be close with.
I- Is something troubling you?
Uh, no, my apologies. I got lost in thought.
You don't look it, but you're actually a bit of a daydreamer, aren't you?
Daydreamer?
Mel would fit that description much better.
Mel would fit that description much better.
What? Why? Do I really look like that much of an airhead? Oh, I can see that. Someone has to watch out for him, or he's likely to lose his head in the clouds. I I really don't think I'm that spacey. I'm not trying to say you're spacey. I just feel like I've got to keep one eye on you at all times. It's a lot like what I imagine having a little brother would be like.
Wait, is Javi the new Mel? Like, was Mel the original Javi?
I am an oldest child, you know. What's the big deal? You don't want a big sister? Well, I want you to be my little brother. I don't want to be just a capital S sister to you. That's so stiff and formal. No, I want to be your sister. I, I'm a little old to be playing make believe. Oh, come on.
They're quite friendly with one another, it would seem.
Oh, I know. Why don't you become her brother then?
Uh,
What?
uh,
Will you?
I will not. Besides, I'm clearly the oldest one here.
Why not? I don't think it matters who's older than who. You don't really act all that old anyway.
I have at least 10 years on you.
Your youngest child insecurity is showing.
But I insecurity.
You two are pretty good friends, huh?
We can discuss the veracity of that claim later. I would like to ask you a favor.
What is it? I'll gladly help with anything I can.
Could I perhaps borrow a room until the day of the Harvest Festival?
Uh,
I, uh, I don't have anywhere to stay. Or a source of income for that matter. I know it would be taking advantage of your generosity, but I only mean to intrude for a few days.
I would be more than happy to offer you a place to stay at any other time. But right now, I can't let you stay here. I'm so sorry.
Well, damn. So much for that.
Don't let one little no stop you. Keep pushing. Put on a show. Earn her sympathy. She's a lady of the cloth. If you make her feel bad for you, she'll offer you her aid.
Put on a show? You expect me to act? First, it was just making conversation. I'm having another episode, and I was so sure this church would be able to help. That's not going to convince anyone. Quiet, you. He was perfectly fine on our walk here. Shut your mouth, boy.
As I said, we did once offer a place of respite for the ailing and the needy, but regrettably, for the time being, we are unable to take anyone in. What I can do, though, is give you medicine. Since we can't let people stay here, with the Lord's generous assistance, we've been handing out medicine instead.
There we go. We got to go with the spastic colon excuse. It works every time. Hi, ma'am. I feel like I am about to have explosive diarrhea right here, right now. So, all you do here then is give people medication?
Yes, I suppose that's what it boils down to. I'm honestly not sure why we're not allowed to offer shelter right now, but we are still able to provide assistance to those in need, so I assume it's just a temporary measure and we'll be able to take people in again before long. And with how much he's done for the church, it's not really my place to complain about his decisions. I truly am sorry. I hope you understand. I'm supposed to ask for a tithe in exchange normally, but just this once, it's yours, free of charge.
Could you tell me more about this medicine, please?
It's called Saint's Blood, and it'll cure any disease.
Saint's blood?
It's not real blood, of course. That's just what it's called. It sure sounds divine, doesn't it?
No, that's not true.
Huh?
It is real blood.
Uh, what? What do you? Sorry to butt in. Do you mind if I bring him back to my room? I don't think I mentioned it, but he's an old friend of mine. We've got a lot of catching up to do. All right. Hey, come on. This way. Well, that sure got quite the reaction out of him. And now he's just incredibly leery of you. When she mentioned the blood, I couldn't stop myself. I probably should have kept my mouth shut, though. There we go. It comes from a machine built by our sponsor, Odie Asman, completely synthetic blood. Mel doesn't say a word the entire way. I will say, like, what the fuck is up with that marketing? Like, it's medicine. Why would you want to call it blood? His smile has retreated, and there's a hint of fear lurking beneath his now stony expression. I spend the trek through the mansion's corridors, pondering how to answer the questions I know are coming. How to solve the problem I put myself in. We enter a bedroom, presumably his, and he closes the door behind us. I can see the distrust in his eyes as he glares at me. I I have to ask, who exactly are you? Why did you say that back there? That Saint's blood is real blood? In response to his pressing, I. Oh, we are about to go into another decision, I am sure of it. So we will go ahead and save. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they're banking on the iconography of Eucharistic wine as the blood of Christ. Okay. So, do we want to tell him everything or do we want to tread carefully here? I'm of two minds. I can see it both ways, right? Like, if we tell him everything, maybe he'll trust us more. I don't know. Like, how do we trust, how do we tread carefully here, actually? I just guessed. I heard a rumor. I don't know. All right. I feel like we'll get killed if we spill the beans now, so let's get that bad ending first. Okay, so let's tell him everything. I know Mel feels immense remorse about his involvement in Morgana's imprisonment, so I decide it's best to tell him everything. His shade in the mansion begged for me to save him. If he knows what I know, maybe this Mel will seek my help as well. Perhaps I'm being rash, but it's worth a shot. All right, I'll tell you everything. It might sound crazy, but I promise you, everything I am about to tell you is the truth. I am not from this time. What? I have come here from a point in time after Morgana's death. How do you know about? I know everything. Morgana told me what happened here, what will happen here. You and two other men imprisoned her at the top of the observation tower, eventually leading to her death. At this point in time, she should still be alive, but she will not be for much longer. When the bell tolls noon on the day of the Harvest Festival, Morgana's life will come to an end. And when she dies, she will do so in the grips of overwhelming hatred. A hatred that will transform her soul into a true witch. The three of you will become the targets of that hatred, the targets of her curse. And by the power of that curse, you will be drawn back to this place in your next lives, where great suffering and misery awaits you. Everything you're saying is going right over my head. Our next lives? Her soul? A witch? Every word of it is true. Did anything I say contradict your experiences? The three of you have Morgana imprisoned in the tower. You drain her of her blood, which you then claim is a medicine called Saint's blood, which you give out in exchange for tithes. Am I wrong about any of that? There we go.
I drove my DeLorean at 88 miles per hour when fleeing Libyan terrorists, and now I'm stuck in the past unless I harness the lightning that strikes in 3 days. Clearly, this is how I did it. I am here to save Morgana, to set her free of that tower and her hatred, which will consequently set your souls free as well. I know you're not proud of what you've done. Lend me your hand in freeing Morgana, and tell me your story. Tell me how you came to be involved in her imprisonment. This is not the path you wish to take, I'm certain of that. You wanted blood for your sister, yes, but you're not the kind of man who would think severing another's arm was acceptable. You had to have had some reason for it. Please, give me your assistance. Tell me your tale. Saving her will save you too. I only want what's best for you. Could could you give me a moment? This is all so sudden. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it. But I do get one thing, that you know what we've been doing. Give me some time to process it. I'll have an answer for you tonight. Please, I'll make the right decision. I just need time to convince myself. I understand. Wait here until I come back, would you? It's almost sundown, so it shouldn't be long. Tonight, I'll tell you what I can, once I've made sense of everything. I'm sure I'll be able to shake hands. So just relax here for a bit. I'll be waiting. Thanks. See you tonight. Tonight. It is a lot to drop on him, and he does need space to process it, but also I am terrified that our assassin is going to come through that door and murder us. So, giving him space and time is it's a gamble. We'll put it that way.
Well, he seemed to believe it.
Thankfully. I was worried he wouldn't.
I knew he wasn't happy being a part of this. He desperately wanted out. And you gave him that opportunity.
I know, if he turns around and rats us out to Yukimasa, like, I remember Mel being a bitch during his whole thing. Like, this is the same Mel that let us put our hand in the thorns, like, twice when the key wasn't in there. So, I don't trust this kid. I can only hope.
He said he'd help, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens when he comes back.
Perhaps I'm just being paranoid. But it does feel like that went over too easily. No, I made the right decision.
Hello? Are you there? May I come in?
You may.
Sorry it took so long.
Not at all. You did say it would be night when. Oh, bitch. 3 bitches.
What?
Is this the man? Never seen him before. You.
It's them.
What is the meaning of this, Mel?
Uh,
Where the hell did you get your information?
Michael?
I came from the future. Oh no. Look, Mel might have gone. We had a chance with Mel. I don't think we have a chance in hell with Jacopo by telling him the truth, but let's see how this goes. In my time, Morgana is already dead. I'm here to set her free, to erase. You spilled it, Mel, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Why do you think I told you about him? So you'd know it didn't come from me. I can't believe he
Mel, how could you? What happened to everything you said earlier? It was a lie. That you would make the right decision. That you would help. You two friends?
For the thousandth time, I met him in the forest this afternoon. I'd never seen him before then.
Then who told him? It wasn't me. I have nothing to gain from talking. Fair enough.
He's just messed up in the head. That has to be it. He has all these crazy delusions. Souls turning into witches the next life. He's mad, I'm telling you. I thought he believed us.
Mel, am I wrong that you feel remorse? Am I wrong that you don't want to be involved in this? You shouldn't be adding to your list of wrongdoings. Yeah, I thought we were trying to get them to not do this, not. I mean, yes, did he probably defer to their authority as adults? Yes, but also, bitch, if you don't want to do this, take the help. No, you should be doing what you know is right and let Morgana go. Are you sure you're not friends?
I swear to God. It was if he was a friend, why would I snitch on him?
You're not one to let friendship get in the way of what you truly desire.
I would never. Michael, we have to get out of here.
If he so much as twitches like he's gonna run, cut him in half.
Michael.
Maybe you'll come to your senses if you know exactly how what you're doing now will affect your next lives. Morgana comes to bear such incredible loathing for each of you that the people you care for, who, pray tell, lives life fearing how it will affect their next. You were right. He's out of his mind. Listen! You chose the wrong man for your little sermon. Next life, souls?
Damn it. How can I get them to believe me? I've seen it all, but they don't have any of those memories. How can I convince them to believe something that hasn't even happened to them yet? How can I get them to release Morgana? How can I save her? Michael, please, you have to run. You're in danger here.
I would love to, but the door's blocked. So tell me, who told you about Morgana? Morgana herself. Who told you? I'm telling the truth. I know what I know because she told me. Suppose it doesn't matter where you got your information. Getting rid of you still means one less person who knows.
Michael!
Kill him.
Don't.
Can I play with him first? No, do it quickly. I'm tired of listening to this madman's ramblings.
No, please, don't do this. We're only here to save your souls. Because we believed you weren't truly evil. So why?
Ugh. Oh, all right. I'm not happy about it, though. You're putting more than just your next lives at risk. You'll lose the people you care about in this life, too. People are going to die on the day of the Harvest Festival. Many people are going to die. You may be able to avoid that if you set her free. And also change your own fates as well. Exactly. This does feel like a reverse Christmas Carol where we have to convince the three Christmas ghosts to repent. I can't listen to this anymore. Kill this madman now.
Don't, please. I'm begging you, don't.
It really is a damn shame. I was hoping I could have some fun with you. Oh. Well.
Michael!
It happens in the blink of an eye. The man steps forward, and the moment his sword's out of its sheath, I'm toppling backward.
Michael! Michael! No! Michael, no! Why? No, please, no. This can't be. Michael! Say something, Michael, please! Michael!
Yeah, she's gonna have a fucking breakdown in her head.
Giselle's scream fades into the distance. As the three men watch, I make a heavy thud against the cold floor.
You clean up the mess, Mel. Last thing I want is that damn nun suspecting anything.
Oh,
Don't you vomit, boy. Make any more of a mess and you'll be joining him.
ugh. All three of their voices are growing muted now. As my vision goes red, I realize I can see my own body off in the distance. What pains me most, though, is that Giselle had to witness that too. But everything is slipping away from me so quickly. I don't have time to come up with anything to say before it all goes black.
There we go. Yukimasa's signature move. Disarmed. Alright, ending 0, that's just a regular dead end. Oops. Okay, so let's go ahead and load up that save. Alright, let's not tell him everything this time. We're gonna tread carefully.
We don't have much time, but it's in our best interest to tread carefully. There's too much we don't know yet. It would not be wise to make a rash decision. With him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key or persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with the three shades tells me that if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger.
Yeah, we got to see that.
A brief flash of what might have happened had I spoken too soon
Crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm going to need something more. Something decisive.
something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Regardless, being cautious isn't going to mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby to keep an eye on things, gather information. How to go about that, though? Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free and he'll work with us. Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion, but she's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, it was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have had healing properties. Stories? Maybe they haven't made it out this far. I don't know. But they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint and the daughter of God.
Yeah.
Oh, that was scary. Good thing we didn't do that. I thought that perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes. I have to say, you looked more angry than excited.
I didn't hide it very well, I guess.
Maybe it appeared that way to you, but
I've never had a very friendly face.
if you say so. As long as you're telling the truth.
100%. Total truth here.
I myself have to wonder. Why did my remarks seem to bother you so much?
What?
Is there something more to this saint's blood than you're telling me?
No.
Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me?
There's nothing.
I just,
Didn't want to scare anyone with all the talk of blood, since there's not actually any in it. And I didn't know about the stories, so.
it's just medicine, I swear.
As you say.
It's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories. To change the subject, could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here? Huh? Weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now. Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live on the premises, don't you? I'm more a supervisor of sorts.
Then you should have some say in the matter.
Why?
Until the Harvest Festival is all I'm asking. That is true. We did learn this from a story where it happened. We did not say that it's not the exact same story he's currently in. And technically it's not, because we're here now. So it's now a different story in theory. So, once upon a time, we saw you commit a war crime.
Why not get a room at an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin. I must stay in this mansion. But why? Those are my instructions. Uh, you know the stained glass window in the chapel behind the pulpit? I was named after the Archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here. From where you were standing, you couldn't have possibly seen the window in that much detail. You couldn't. Oh, I get it. You've been to the church before, and you're just acting like you haven't.
There we go. This is Morgana's story with our self insert OC. We're just writing a really good fan fiction.
There's a metal door off to the side leading to an observation tower. Y- yeah, you can you can see the tower from outside. Inside is a long spiral staircase, not made of stone but wood. There's a single door at the top of the stairs. Uh, how? wh- What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie. I am not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I'm on your side. You show up out of nowhere and expect me to believe your nonsense? All I ask is for you to allow me to stay until the day of the festival. If you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I have not forgotten your pleas for salvation. I know you want to be free. Let me guess, you saw that in a vision too? If you want to call it that, then you can. I I've never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. If I say you're a friend, the Saintess should be willing to accommodate you. Wait, I already told her you were my friend, didn't I? I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake. I won't. Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is. Of course. Thank you. You know, I never did get your name.
It's Michael.
Oh, right. After the Archangel Michael. Just like you said. I've never really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand on his perfectly balanced scales, then delivers its punishment with his sword in the other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be. No, never mind. It's turned into a bit of a storage area, but there's an open room you can use. I'll show you the way. I appreciate your courtesy.
Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling, and the walls peeling off. There is a bed at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storeroom when I lived here, as I recall.
Sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, you're not going to find that here.
Not a problem. I'm grateful to have a room at all. Okay, this might be a stretch, but this kind of reminds me how, compared to the three synoptic gospels, the Gospel of John has a lot more allegorical imagery, and John's self insert is the beloved disciple representing the virtue of love. Interesting. I I have nothing that I can say in confirmation or denial because I don't know any of what you're talking about, but um, it is very interesting.
If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. I'll talk to the Saintess as promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point, but do keep your crazy talk to yourself around her.
I'll make a note of it, thank you.
See ya. We made it work. Somehow.
Somehow.
It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding the whole time. And that the Archangel Michael came to me in a vision stuff? I never expected you to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway?
Well, because I didn't think telling him I know the future and I need your help to change it would have gone over very well. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to latch on to the spiritual. I thought taking advantage of that would work to our benefit.
You know, I bet you'd make a pretty good con artist, Michael.
I I did what I thought was necessary.
I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you?
Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend him my hand, though.
Oh, you say it's all on him, but deep down, you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel, but I can't bring myself to think of him that way. We just met today, but it feels like reuniting with an old friend. He's the same old Mel.
And you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes the sentiment all the stronger.
You don't feel the same way?
I don't think of him as a total stranger, no. However, nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself.
What?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I- If you say so.
I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So if anything's motivating me, it's not concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something.
It didn't take much arm twisting to get him to give us a room, so who knows? Maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect.
Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but also he doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. Yeah, the old days when we only knew of Giselle by the name of Hot Maid. He needs time, and doing that gives him that time. If he decides keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly.
Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy, and, well, to be frank,
I don't think he has the spine for it. It's hard to say. But even if he doesn't, we'd still have the other two men to worry about. Yeah, they have the spine for it. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the three to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first.
what makes you say that?
Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion?
Shadows? I might have. But around the time Hayden Rhodes passed away, I wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking, stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I'd become merely another part of the cursed mansion.
I was only able to converse with them after I had reclaimed myself. I suppose, much like the rules differ between the realms of the living and the dead, so too do they differ for those who have lost their grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with the three men's shadows. Of the three, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret. He yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted." He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins. My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they're not equals in this endeavor.
If he wants out, then maybe he would have agreed to help him if we'd told him we're here to save
Morgana, he would not. Carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to this point if it were so easy to stop.
So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust.
Morgana's death is in 3 days. We have until then to get all 3 keys.
It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today.
Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us, no one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge, quite a bit of it, in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you showed me their next lives as well. From that, we can deduce how they might behave and to whom they have ties.
You're right, we do. We know things we should have no way of knowing. And we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Their various interpersonal relationships are where we can get our edge, I think.
Hmm.
They each have their reasons for locking Morgana up, and if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's these powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force would be his sister, for instance.
Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together?
You're right. We should find and talk to his sister. Mel is more likely to act if it's coming from her than us. I agree. If its darling sister tells him to stop, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement.
Knowing how the first tale ended makes me slightly uncertain. But for now, we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her.
What do you want to bet she's somewhere nearby? I mean,
She will be. It was her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival.
ah, right, it was.
Hmm?
No, you're exactly right. But what I was going to say is that people tend to keep those they care about most close by.
Uh, oh. Well, that's sad, knowing that they sent Michael away. His family sent Michael away. I hate that. It would appear I have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry.
Huh? What for?
For being careless with my words. Inconsiderate.
No need to apologize for the truth.
Besides, you and considerate are like oil and water. And today you're the fire to my oil.
We have 3 days to stop this tragedy. Let's get to work?
Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, the nun might know.
Off we go.
I don't think Mel would tell us where his sister is anyways. Just a guess, but...
Uh, as I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door.
The man is practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, he's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her.
Is that saint's blood?
According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is so limited, a plague would be almost unstoppable. And the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or a curse.
We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea.
Morgana described it as a tale that could have only taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality, and about that, she couldn't be more right.
Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? I assume the sickness was caused by them ingesting blood at any rate.
It's not medicine they're being given, but bottled disease, like some sick joke. If we could convince them to stop taking Saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed. But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord and peddled as a miracle cure plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? Okay, I need to read this out loud because I don't know that I'm getting it. Wait a minute. What if we aren't changing the past? We're causing it with a paradox where our efforts to stop the men from abusing Morgana leads to the role Abby plays in their stories. And Morgana is playing Abby in those stories. Maybe. That's a possibility. And like in theory, she'll never know what that we were there in general, so we would never be in her story anyways. I don't know. I'm suddenly very scared. And besides, it's not them we came here to save, but no, that's veering too far off our intended path. We need to find the truth and save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out there like that is only going to get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious, and we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's just knowing what they're doing to themselves, I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something we could do, especially considering how it all turns out.
I understand the sentiment, or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them, and you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. If we can eliminate the mansion's darkness, then you won't have to be trapped as it's made. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mel's sister then.
Okay.
I turn my gaze back towards the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel. Now's the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile.
Hello, Michael. Mel was just here. He told me everything. Can't turn away a friend of Mel's, now can we?
Sorry for turning you down earlier. No worries. I did a poor job of explaining myself.
So, did you need something? Let me guess, medicine?
No, I'm in perfectly good health.
I figured you were lying.
Uh, I can ask her about Saint's blood some other time. And while I have a number of questions about the man she's close with, too, right now, Mel's sister is priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair, much like him.
Oh, you mean Nellie? Are you her friend too?
I would say we're more.
You're better off just saying you're friends.
Friends, yes.
Hmm? What about her?
I would like to speak with her, and I was wondering if you might know where I could find her.
Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe.
The cottage?
Yep, that's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion itself.
So you don't live here, but only work here?
Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here.
So you and Nellie live together then?
Yep, we have for about 6 months or so, ever since she and Mel showed up. I wanted to let her stay with her brother, but since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and girls separate.
I see.
I'm so glad to hear Nellie's got a friend, though.
What?
She's not from around here, so she doesn't have many acquaintances. And with how sick she can get, she doesn't spend much time outside, which is a shame because she's such a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but I've got responsibilities. I can only be around so often. So I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to.
It would be my pleasure. Could you, tell me the way to the cottage then?
Oh, sure. It's not that far from here. You go down.
The directions I got from the nun lead me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Sunlight seeps relentlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. It's blindingly bright, painful.
How are you holding up, Michael?
I'll be all right. The sun's past its peak. In a few hours, it won't be nearly as bad.
Don't push yourself, okay?
Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was, and having this chance to experience being alive again comes with both the good parts and the bad. But now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view. And crouching by a flower bed, picking flowers, is the flaxen-haired girl. Are you Nellie? Oh, her little rose belt. That's so cute. And it calls back to the brooch that he gave her.
Though several details of her appearance don't match my memory of her, she still has that distinct hair.
It could be no one else.
This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail. The effects of her being ill, I presume. Who are you? My name is Michael. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? Uh, mm,
I would have thought she'd said something by now.
you're being way too blunt, Michael. You've gone and scared her.
What else was I supposed to say?
You have to approach slowly, carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice, soft smile.
Smile. Yeah, this is gonna go over super well.
I'm only here to talk.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Okay, that is definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it and I can still tell. What did you expect? I can't just smile on demand. It's a bad man. A bad man has come to kidnap me. Save me, dearest Mel, before this bad man does bad things to me.
Calm down, please. I'm not going to do anything to you.
Don't get any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me.
I'm not going to do bad things to you. I couldn't, even if I wanted to.
Don't move or I'll call the guards on you.
Please calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly.
That's what all bad men say.
I mean, she is right.
No, Giselle, don't just watch. This would be a fantastic time for a little advice. Um, got it. Maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mel.
You're a genius.
I'm a friend of Mel's. What? He was telling me about you and how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to go keep you company. Mel asked you to come talk to me?
He did. Do you trust me now?
So that makes you his friend then?
As much as it pains me to admit it.
Michael! What on earth possessed you to say that?
Slip of the tongue.
You and him. Is that so?
Yes.
You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really, really, really his friend?
Really?
Then prove it.
How so?
If you're really his friend, then you should be able to tell me all about him.
Why in God's name would you ever subject me to that?
Do you not like Mel, Michael?
That's not it. We're just incompatible.
Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all?
It's you, of course. We're gonna save just in case, but is it Naps, Nellie, or the theater? I will say naps are very nice. Does the theater even exist in this time period? Well, we know the answer. We're gonna go with Nellie. Oh, chat said let's say naps, but I already chose.
You think so? You think I'm his favorite thing in the whole wide world? I like to believe that's what he thinks. I think it'd be wonderful if I could always be his number one.
Her excessive love for her brother is still out in full force, I see.
Second question. What kind of person is my Mel?
All right. Is he a nice guy? Is he a sycophant? Or is he a spineless chump? I mean, I know that theater has I know that the concept of theater has been around in since ancient Greece. But are they calling it theater in the same way that we are thinking about theater? I guess is more my question. right? Like if we said the word theater, would we have the same thought of what it is? But I guess we don't even know what language we're speaking technically, so maybe that's not it. I'm making my own head hurt. I'm confusing myself. It's fine. Okay. I mean, there's a fairly clear answer here. We're gonna say he's a nice guy.
That's right, he's a very nice guy. He can have his head in the clouds sometime, but other than that, he's perfect. You know your stuff.
To be honest, I was just saying what you wanted to hear. Michael, shut the fuck up. Man, my big mouth.
Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me.
All right, what are our options? I try not to scrutinize other men. He's decently handsome, or I'm far better looking. Give me just a second to get through my feelings on all of these. Um, uh, I just imagine telling like this 6-year-old or however old she is. Sorry, I try not to look at other men. I just wild. Um, can't we just say flaxen hair? No. So what do we want to say here? How do we think of Mel? Are we afraid of being gay? Do we say he's cute? Or do we go, okay, but he's a 5 and I'm a 10? I just imagine saying that to this young child. That is true. We do have it on record that we are not into looking at men. I will agree. Also, based on her question, it is wild that we are taking it this direction. Because I'm with you, chat. Like, describe him like I'm thinking like flaxen hair, somewhat short, all of that. And we've immediately gone into, is he hot? Um, all right, well, we'll give her what she wants to hear. I'm assuming that she wants to hear he's decently handsome. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Isn't he? He's like a modern day Adonis.
That might be a bit of a stretch.
Mel could be a prince in a fairy tale. He's got the most perfect face.
May I ask you something?
Hmm?
You do realize he's still growing, right? And that can change a man in unimaginable ways. He could end up 2 heads taller, shoulders twice as broad, and covered in muscle before you realize what has happened. And body hair, lots of that. Facial hair as thick as these woods. Would you still consider Mel your prince if that happened to him?
Mel, with a beard and muscles? I won't have it. That's not my Mel at all.
You're heading into dangerous waters, Mel.
My Mel will never, ever grow a beard. I'll pray every day to make sure of it. And he won't get all big and muscly either. There's nothing princely about any of that.
I wouldn't mind some muscles myself. Out of curiosity, did you ever want to be buff like that, Michael? Well, yeah, of course. Every man wants to be strong and well built. I don't think the beefy look would work on you.
Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems. Sure, why not? You can be my Mel's friend.
Why, thank you.
This is great. I was sure you were a bad man.
Why is it that the first impression everyone has of me is never that I'm someone decent?
Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person.
That's quite the faith you have in him.
Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother.
That's some circular logic. Hmm?
Is it just you? Is Mel not coming?
He's rather busy at the moment.
Oh, he always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company.
Yes, you do. I can't stay long, though.
All right, just stay until sundown then. You had something you wanted to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah, all of Mel's friends are spectacular people, especially the Lord. And how do I go about that?
Talking. Lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained.
You're asking far too much of me.
She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk.
Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolation knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation?
Hey now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on.
Uh,
Do you not want to talk to me?
no, I do. I'm just not much of a conversationalist.
Okay, then instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I've always wanted to know what kinds of songs they sing. Will you show me?
Hmm, I've never seen one myself either. But I have heard secondhand accounts of the songs of traveling jongleurs. I assume that's not how you pronounce that, but we're sticking with it. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard whilst traveling.
Hey, I can't wait!
Mm-mm. Here goes.
Uh, hmm.
The silence is deafening.
I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly. Me neither. I'm flabbergasted.
Let's hear you try then.
That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off.
What a vicious little girl. Look, Nellie takes absolutely zero shit, so if it was her that the other two had roped into rather than Mel, she would be putting saddles on them and making them play pony. So I wholly believe that.
I know, let's bake something.
Bake something.
Yeah, come on inside. I made some nice jam earlier today, and I want to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that.
I'm not much of a.
Come on, get a move on. You either help or you don't get to be my friend.
Uh, as you wish.
This is not going to end well.
Yeah, she'd try to put saddles on them and then Yukimasa would stab her. Look, he lets Pauline in, so there's got to be some way into his heart.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity?
I gave it my best shot.
There's only one explanation. You're possessed. It's true, he is, but I'm a perfectly good chef. Michael's just naturally terrible at it.
God, could this go any worse?
I can't give this to Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser.
That's true. Pauline is someone Yukimasa wants to fuck. Nellie is probably not his type. Uh, I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, I guess we've got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table.
What?
And I'll make us some tea while I'm at it. I've always dreamed of this, sitting around a table with a friend, having snacks and just talking.
Oh,
Yep, and for that, I can deal with a little awful disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share it with my Mel, too.
I I see.
For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it is a real sense of isolation.
And the same can be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy as she could be, you could see hints of loneliness behind it all. There we go. We're Mrs. Nesbit from that scene in Toy Story.
Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, that's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends.
Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom.
Even in such drastically different time periods, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person and into the courses of her two different lives.
Perhaps that means all who are reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nellie,
Hmm?
I am. I would be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather or your brother, anything you want.
Uh, you will? Great, take a seat. I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what Mel said next. That I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've got enough of them, I'm going to make a big bouquet and give it to Mel. Back at home, we've got this really, really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petal's what really ties it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. Care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink.
No, thank you. I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen. And the bulk of it was about Mel, no less.
I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set.
Do you and the nun not speak much?
Mm, we do, but it's kind of. I don't know. Not really the same with her. It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time being the lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate.
And what about Mel? Does he not visit you very often?
Mm, no, he does. He comes to see me a lot.
Then why?
He hasn't been himself lately. My old Mel would happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. And he always avoids the question when I ask him why he can't. It feels like he's hiding something.
Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. There we go. Should we tell Nellie that there's a girl Mel has seen behind her back in the tower and she should help us take the girl out of the tower? Thinking with our tools here. He could never tell his precious little sister that he and two other men have a girl locked up in a tower and that he's stealing her blood for her sake.
I wish. I wish things could have stayed the way they were before.
The way they were before?
When it was just the two of us living together. I know we're more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church. But I'd rather stay being sick than be so alone.
Oh, poor thing. You said you came here around 6 months ago?
Yep, it was just the two of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house, we had a bunch of servants, but I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, I just felt more alone. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel. Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain?
It's better than being alone. He just, Mel just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that the loneliness is so much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. They just don't get what it's like to be ignored. What it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything.
We we don't understand, no. We think saving their lives matters above all.
Huh?
Even if there's a cost to saving that life, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self serving our actions are.
Are you talking about yourself?
The same could be said of Mel as well, I imagine.
He's. Mel's still around, though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want is for him to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince.
Have you ever told him that?
What?
Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him there? Have you ever put those feelings into words?
I'm always telling him I want him around.
And that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so?
He's he's already said he will be my prince, and he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore?
I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mal, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return.
Am I a burden?
I can assure you, he's better off with you around.
But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me.
Yes, you are.
Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me?
I promise you, that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you.
You promise?
I promise.
I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know I'm making his life difficult. But Mel's all I have. He's the only person I can latch on to. And I can't control my feelings.
It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you've got on your mind, and then sat down with him to talk it out. Even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable, you should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for the both of you. You too needed to face the things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they had just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided, even with Morgana's curse in play. If Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mel, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way that they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. Uh, um, I'm sorry. That was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know.
No need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that?
Huh?
We only met a couple of hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my whole life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you all of that?
No, he did not tell me much.
I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen?
I know he will.
It won't make things worse? It won't make him uncomfortable?
There is a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again. And I promise you, the result will be something much better than you had if you held it in. It will all work out.
Okay. Next time I see Mel, I'll tell him. I'll tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince.
Good.
You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make believe princess.
You are a real person, I assure you.
Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today.
And I'm glad I could meet you in person.
It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives.
I've known of you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you will become.
Huh?
Oh no, ignore me.
Were you? Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, bad, Michael. I'm still too young for that.
No, I wasn't.
And now you're getting flustered?
I swear that's not what that was.
I know, I know. Geez, do you really think I trust you that little?
Sorry.
Oh, I just had the most wonderful idea.
Oh?
Yep. Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better.
Hmm?
You're my second brother.
Second brother.
A brother is much, much more special to me than a friend. Though obviously you can't be my number one.
Um, I'm blanking.
She's taken a liking to you. This is good for us.
I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly, though.
The amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listen to her, you understand her, and you treated her like a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister?
Actually, I was the youngest child, so having a younger sibling would be,
Would be what? Come on, spit it out.
it would be rather nice.
You bet it would. Who wouldn't want a little adorable sister like me?
That's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me I'm adorable, dearest Michael.
There we go. And obviously, you hitting on me won't work because it's only hot if we came from the same womb. Clearly.
What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mel were here, he wouldn't bat an eye.
Please don't compare me to him. Now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I would be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it'll definitely be easier to bring up now while she holds me in such high regard. She's much more likely to believe me.
You're right. I agree, now's probably the best chance we'll get. Especially considering how little time we have.
I can't shake the feeling I'm rushing things, but at this point, all I can do is go with it and pray it works out. And I think we're going to end it here for tonight. I think this is a good place to stop. Okay. Next stream is Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I don't have any announcements that I can think of, but as a reminder, we do have the YouTube page or YouTube channel if you've missed anything.
yeah, thanks for hanging out. Like and subscribe or all that jazz, and be back on Tuesday.
Have a good night, all. Thank you.
Bye bye.